Well, today's the day we're going to start doing a bit of repair on the rust around this VW-T4 windscreen. Obviously the weather couldn't be any better, absolutely perfect for it. But yeah, this windscreen has a rubber seal that's just kind of pressed around the edge of the screen. I had a bit of a dig in here just to kind of see how bad it is, and there is some pinholes going through there and rust. I gave it a temporary prime, but now we're going to have a windscreen company come and cut the windscreen out and leave us to do the work. We have got rust all the way around, some places worse than others. Up here is quite bad. Across the top there I'm going to have a dig in there, see how bad that is. And I think there's going to be some welding around here. We'll then zinc prime it, epoxy prime it, and then give it several layers of paint and clear coat. Now, there's really bad bits there. I will point that out again. That's on the driver's side, all the way around there. It's crumbling away, so this could be bad news. Okay, so we've had the windscreen taken out. The guy who took it out basically said it didn't look like it ever had any of the polyurethane primer put on there. There wasn't enough polyurethane, and the water is quite bad all the way up to there. So now we're just, we've been scraping. Well, first of all we cleared out all the muck, and then we've scraped off as much of the sealer as possible. Knocking as much of this loose rust off as possible. Once we've gone all the way around, we will look at grinding back any rusty bits before applying some rust treatment on there. There is some holes. Where have we found holes? There's some holes, so I'll be looking at filling that with weld. Grinding that back, and then we'll look for any other pinholes. A bit worse than we thought it was going to be, but what can you do? Hopefully we'll just keep grinding it back. And hope that there's enough metal there to reattach a windscreen. Okay, so a few hours have gone into this. What we've done is, well, we started with a chisel and got all the really loose stuff off, the flaking rust. Then we've gone ahead and used sandpaper wire brush, brushed it all down to bare metal. The rust wasn't too bad. There's a lot of pitting along here, but very little in the way of holes actually. And then what we've gone and done is, you can see up here, actually drilled a hole in there. You can just about see the hole. And then what we've done is used one of these 360-degree spray nozzles on the end of a tube, and you essentially just insert that up into the hole. And then we've used some rust converter, which is an epoxy based rust converter. We got all the way up into there and pulled that out while spraying, and that has actually hopefully coated the inside. Now I do need to weld that hole back up and grind it. I was just waiting for this rust converter to dry, otherwise I do believe it's very flammable and it will actually go up. You can see here that any area that was slightly rusty has actually turned black, so that's actually reacted with the treatment, and any areas that were clean metal haven't really reacted. So you can see there's been a lot of reaction along here, even though it was cleaned back to near bare metal. I'm going to leave this first coating 24 hours, well, no, I was going to leave the first coating 6 hours to dry, as it says on the tin. Apply another coating, leave it overnight, and then maybe apply a third coat all the way around. I've got the heater on in here, which is getting our temperature up to about 27 degrees. So should be enough for it to set nicely. I will just weld up this hole. Okay, not very good focus on this camera, but there it is. I've just splobbed a bit of weld in the hole. Now I did have a little kind of Dremel type tool, but it just gave up yesterday, so I've had to use a proper angle grinder to get in there, grind it flat. See, there's still a bit of a hole, so I'm just going to come in and fill again. I think the important thing is that you go in a little pulse. It's a spot, and once you get a piece of weld onto the body, you kind of want to add your weld to your piece of weld until you fill the hole up. If you have the settings I've got are basically the lowest power setting, one of 9 or something like that, and very low feed, because as soon as you put too much heat in there, that piece of panel is just going to melt and drop down. So yes, spot. I don't bother cooling it down, but what you'll find is the paint around it will catch on fire, so I typically just dab it with this. Do have a fire extinguisher nearby, just in case something on the inside of the vehicle catches on fire, which can happen. So I'll just a couple more bits of weld on there, show you that, and then grind. Well guys, unfortunately I didn't get the end of the welding, but what I've done is given it a few days, actually put about 3 layers of paint on here and probably about 3 layers of clear coat, and I'm really happy really. There's a few imperfections where I didn't do any work. I put a new polyurethane seal across here, actually just masked it up and kind of squeegeed some sealer in, and all around here I think it's come out really well. I've done this bottom panel here the same colour as the body, and there are a few imperfections here and there, but mostly where I haven't done any work. Up this edge where the rust was really quite bad, no signs now. And I've actually come back to this video a little while later, and even a year later this was still really good, no signs of rust, so really happy with the DIY job.